only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there, everyone. My name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're going to be taking a look at not piano keys, continuing our way along with the not modded module series. This is not a Speaking Evil module. This is another Danny one today. So this is the way the module looks. The biggest difference between piano keys and not piano keys is normally on piano keys there would be 2 black keys on the left side and 3 on the right side. However, their order has been flipped essentially. That's the key difference here for figuring out not piano keys and piano keys. And also the piano keys, I guess, can look a little bit different based off of whatever room you're in. But this is essentially going to be the key difference, is recognizing that there is three black keys on the left side and 2 on the right instead of 2 on the left and then 3 on the right. That's essentially what it is. So our goal here is to figure out a series of different presses. We're going to be pressing all of the piano keys in one way, sort of similar to CPK, but not the way that you think it's going to be like. So let's get into this. So what we need to do is we need to obtain 2 black key two sequences, one for the black keys and one for the white keys later on. So the black keys is going to be specifically relating to the top display here for the first part. We're going to take the musical notes on the module and use them in the below tables from the top to bottom to obtain 3 distinct keys and referred to by their positions from left to right. So the black keys in this case will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's essentially what they mean. They will always be that. Likewise with the white keys, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's just the way that they're referred to as. Okay, so let's get into this. So we have, excuse me for butchering all these symbols. I do not care. For those of you music majors, mainly looking at you, Zach. I believe this is a natural. And then we have the up triangle, or the upside down Victor in this case, and then we have the whole note essentially. So we have natural and the upside down Victor in this case right here. That's going to give us a 4 for the first one here. Then next up we have the natural again, because it sort of works similar to astrology, where you take the first symbol and do it with the second, then you do the first symbol with the third, then you do the second and the third together essentially. So this is going to be with the whole note, which is going to be a 1. And next up is going to be the upside down Victor and the whole note, which is going to give me a 5. So now we only have 3 of these notes determined, which in this case, if the serial number contains a 0 or 5, we're going to add the 2 remaining keys from right to left. Otherwise, we're going to add them from left to right. Now, what exactly does this mean? So we just got three unique keys from these tables here, which in this case, they're obviously 3 distinct keys referred to by their position from left to right. So now what we need to do is we need to determine whether we get the last keys from left to right, in this case being left to right. So we're missing currently a 2, and a 3. Essentially what we need to do is we need to figure out how we put these guys into the last 2 positions here. So do we have a 0 or a 5 in the serial number? We do not. So this is going to be reading them from left to right, which in this case, 1 we already have, 2 is going to be our next one, and then 3. So we're simply just going to put them in like this. Otherwise, if there was a 0 or a 5, it would essentially be 3, 2, because you're reading them from right to left, essentially. So that, but in this case, is going to be a 2 and a 3. And just like that, we already have our black sequence taken care of. This is all we need to do. So now, to obtain the white key, we're going to be getting a series of different swaps. We're going to start off with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but we're going to be swapping them in some way, shape, or form for submitting them later on. So we're going to take a sequence of the numbers from 1 to 7, which we just set up right here, and these represent the white keys from left to right, just like that. Based on the 3 symbols shown, perform 4 swaps on the sequence. So let's take a look at what we need to do here. So the first symbol, in this case our natural, is going to be corresponding to one of these little subgrids here. And what we're going to do is we're going to find that on the table here. So we're going to have this little 4x4 subgrid, which in this case we need to find the interaction, or we need to find the specific point where both the other 2 symbols meet up, which in this case is U and U. And we're essentially, in this individual table here, we're going to be taking a look at the corners that have each of these that is part of the natural symbol. So in this case, the natural is part of these 4 corners. This was the meetup spot, which was the top right, essentially. So the first intersection, so find the intersection of the second and third symbols, which we just did, being the whole note and the upside down Victor. and the intersection will always be within the quadrant specified by the first symbol, which in this case it was. It was in top right, and essentially what we did was we highlighted the other three that were part of the natural. It's essentially a 2 by 2 coordinate that it gives us here, which in this case corresponds to these guys right over here. So now, what we're going to do is, based off of these numbers here, we're essentially going to be swapping these positions. And we're going to take the 4 pairs within that number, within that quadrant, and order them in clockwise order, starting with the intersection. So we're going to start at the top right, and we're going to be moving through these orders, clockwise in this case. So we're going to be swapping 7 and 4. First, so we're going to swap 4 and 7, and this is based solely off of position, not based off of label. Keep that in mind. Next up is going to be 1 and 2, so 1 and 2. Next up is going to be 6 and 5, which is simply just going to be swapping 6 and 5. Lovely. And next up, 1 and 7. Now, 1 and 7 refers to position. So position, instead of swapping the 1 and the 7, like the labels, we're going to be swapping 4 and 2. And just like that, we already have our white sequence figured out. Now, we need to figure out the order of which we're going to be submitting these guys in. So this is a really simple part right here. Use the order according to the last digit of the bomb's serial number, which in this case is a 9, right down here. And we're going to be pressing these guys in a specific order. So the B number represents the numberth key of the black sequence. So in this case, the first example that we have here, being the white, represents the white key. So white 6 represents the 6th white key in that sequence, which in this case corresponds to a 5. So this is the 6 represents the position, and what we get here is a specific number, which means this is the position we're going to be pressing. So we're going to be pressing 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that, it's good. It will immediately give you a strike if you're wrong, and the way that you can tell what you pressed is the piano key is down. So let's continue on. So white 3, and then white 2, and then white 4. So white 3, white 2, white 4. We're going to be pressing white 3, white 1, and white 7. Just like that, we're good to go. Then black 1. Black 1 is going to be the 4. So it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then black 3, black 4. So black 3, black 4, black 5, black 2. Black 5, black 2. Okay. White 1, white 7. White 1 being 4, white 7 being 2. So 4, 2. Okay. Black 2, black 5, black 2, black 5 being a 1 and a 3. And in this case, we should have both of these guys not pressed. So black 1, black 3. And finally, white 5, which is going to be a 6. Should be the last position we have on the module, which it is indeed. And just like that is a solved module.
Is the right answer.
There you go. That's all you need to do. So let's go over one more example. I hope everything made sense. You get these two orders. Probably the most confusing part is probably this table here. You start at the coordinate with where the other two symbols meet up, from the first symbol in this case. And then we started at the top right, and then we move clockwise through each of these movements. So keep that in mind. All right, let's pop up one last example. The module is pretty straightforward. Just sometimes the specifics of the serial number can be 0 through 5. Add the two remaining keys from right to left, just making sure that you pay attention to that. Okay. So, we have this little X-ray here, this guy right here. Again, I don't know music symbols. We have the S, which is going to be 1 for the first black key. Then we have the X, and then the it's the whole note with the 2 bars, so that's going to be a 3. Then we have the S being up in the column, and then we have the whole note with the 2 bars, which is going to be a 5. Now, do we have a 0 through 5, a 0 or 5 in the serial number? Let's find out. But essentially, our last two keys are going to be 2 and 4. That's the one we're missing here. So we need to figure out where we're going to order them 4 and 2 or 2 and 4. So do we have a 0 or 5 in the serial number? We do actually. We do have a 5. So if you have a 5, we're going to add the two remaining keys from right to left. So from right to left would be 5, 4 in this case, 3, and then 2, and then 1. Yep. And just like that, we have our order. So moving on down to the white key sequence, let's get our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 typed out. Next up, let's take a look. So we have the little X, which represents the bottom left quadrant of this little 2x2 right there. So let's find the intersection of the S and the 2 bars. So we're gonna have the S right here and the 2 bars right there. Okay, so it's gonna be corresponding to the 12. And since we're in the bottom left section, we're gonna be highlighting the rest of these guys right here, just like that. It's the stuff that which the symbol overlaps essentially. So as we can see, we have the Bravo. It barely touches the top right there, but essentially it's a 2x2 grid. It's going to be each of them. They're obviously going to overlap in some way, shape, or form, but in this case, we are the bottom left right here. So we started at the 12 here in this case. This is going to be where we start because it's at the top left, and that was our intersection. So we're going to move clockwise around here. So we're going to swap 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 swap, 4 and 5, okay. 2 and 6, 2 and 6, positions 2 and 6, that's going to be a 6 and a 1. And then 2 and 1, which is going to be a 6 and a 2 swap right there. And just like that, we have our order figured out. White key specifically. So now taking a look at the last digit of the serial number, which happens to be a 1 this time around, this is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to do black 2, white 2, so black 2 being 3. Then white 2 being a 2. Then white 3, black 3. So white 3 being 3. Then black 3 being a 5. Then white 1, white 6. So white 1, white 6 is going to be white 6, white 1. Basically flipping that. Lovely. Black 5 is going to be black 2. Then we have black 5 being black 2. Then we have white 4 and then black 1. White 4 being a 5. And then a black 1 being a 1. White 5, white 7, which is white 4 and white 7. And now we should be done with all the white ones. As you can see, they've all kind of collapsed in on themselves. And if we take a look here, we should be left with our last option being black 4, which is a 4. Just like that is a solved module.
Is an acceptable answer. That's absolutely brilliant.
Alright, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.